Never wanted to come to an end.
Thought I told you that we won't stop.
Make me so happy. You'll always have a place in my heart. Where do I go? What do I do? 'Cause I can't live without your love. Thinking of you makes me feel.
You out of the gym, you don't got the headsets. You don't got the headsets. You can come when you want to.
Come all you want to. Money, I'ma front you. Girl, I wanna flaunt you.
Right.
I'ma always want you when nobody wants you. If I die now,
I already know that's the gym, man. I already know that's your jam. That's why when you said that, I was surprised.
1997. Walking
No
days.
cat. I ain't even gonna lie to you. When you said that, I was like, hold on, he got some soul.
First CD player.
Anyway, man, I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. We're back with another episode, man. Episode 8. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy, That Yellow Poppy, the Yellow Cord. We back with another episode. I'm sitting with the main man right here, the man of all trades. I'm talking about sneakers. I'm talking about real estate. I'm talking about just entrepreneurship in general. I'm gonna give this guy his flowers because he's been around quite some time. How long you been in the game, Justin?
Just shy of 21 years right now.
Look at that.
So 2002 I started.
Look at that.
2002.
2002, bro. What year are we in?
2025.
Damn near 23 years getting busy, so it was only right that I came, and I've been harassing this man for a minute to try to get this interview with you, so I highly appreciate you giving me the opportunity to shoot this episode in your establishment, in your shop, man. If you can't see by the background, if you can't see the table next to him, we in the HeatCheck, man. The HeatCheck, the one of the starting sneaker stores that was reselling in the area. You feel me? Some other people tried to get into it and it just didn't work at the time because it was at the time. But you got your Foot Locker, you got your Champs,
Yep.
Sneaker Villa, Nike, and now you got your HeatCheck, man.
HeatCheck
You got your HeatCheck. Oh, my bad. And Legacy.
and Legacy.
And
New
Legacy.
Jersey.
So
No more New York.
So before I get into today's topics with you in this episode and all that,
Yep.
I got a couple bills I gotta pay, man. You know, because with this platform, we like to shout out to the local businesses, the local entrepreneurs that are starting up in the area. You feel what I'm saying? So first and foremost, I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to my homegirl, Viva Recovery. All right, it's a stretch therapy bodywork recovery service. If you're an athlete, if you're preparing yourself for a race and, you know, you're just putting in that overtime in the gym or running outside, or you just want to go ahead and need to release your inner chi, hit up Viva Recovery on Instagram down below. She's an amazing person. Also, she's willing to set the vibe for you, man. If you just need to get away, if you're a mom that got like 5+ kids or something, maybe even one kid that might just stress you out too much, she got you. If you're a dad that is always working, you just need to get yourself some time away, a massage or something right by the river. And I seen her do it. She'll set up the massage bed next to the river outside. If you're a nature person, she'll get you right on that. And yeah, just, you know, a very cool girl that I know from high school that's starting up her business with the how you say, a masseuse and all that. Yeah, body work. So if you're putting that work in, recovery is very important. Go ahead, hit up Viva Recovery for your services. All right. Another person I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to, man, is a brand Hole. He does tournaments. He has a podcast. He actually does merch himself, man. Shout out my boy Nyree, man. Fourth quarter. You already know the business with that, man. I'm going to go ahead and drop a bomb on that one. Very cool dude. A person that I know that be putting that work in and is always genuinely showing love to people. So I felt as though I felt like I needed to show you some love on this episode. And, you know what I'm saying, give you a shout out. Don't worry. That podcast episode is going to be coming. You know, Justin, I want to do an episode where the local people that are starting the podcasts and all that, we just sit down, we're talking about ideas and, you know, give each other some feedback on how we're going to help each other grow. You see what I'm saying? Because I feel as though a lot of people have a mindset in the city where it's a crab in a barrel. We can't help each other, you know what I'm saying, grow each other out of this concrete jungle. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that shout out to Nairi, man. You know who he is. You know who he is. All right? Another person I'm going to give a shout out to, man, is my boy. I go there every time I'm done working out, man. Matt Lane, Lord of the Gains. Shout out to House of Gains next to Infinitos on Plaza Boulevard. Listen, I was just over there yesterday. No bullshit. I'm not lying to you. I had the shake of the month. You like shakes, Justin?
I do.
All right, peep game. Yeah. Strawberry shortcake. Right?
Yep.
50 grams of protein for about $6 cash. And I ain't even gonna lie to you, it doesn't even taste like a protein shake. You would have thought it was a dessert. It was a treat. But no, you're getting your macros that you need after an intense workout. So shout out to Matt Lane, man, Lord of the Gains. I see you. You stay showing me love with the shakes over there. Another person I'm gonna give a shout out to, man, is my boy. I didn't wear it today because it's hot outside. This is a thick, good quality shirt, and multiple people already had told me about this shirt. That's why I have it in a wrapper. So Justin, I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be the new street urban wear. All right, hell on earth. Right here, all right? Where you got to go through hell to get to where you're going. You got to go through the struggles of whatever you need to do, all the hardships and all that to get to the successful end of the place that you want to get to, man. Hell on earth. It has a beautiful message. This is just a sample. This ain't even the real deal. Yeah. The real deal is about to drop before the summer. Yeah, so the wait is over. Go ahead, check out that logo down below. Make sure you go ahead, follow that Instagram down below. Very limited spots. That shirt right there, only 30 people got it. And you want to know who's the 30 people?
Influencers, logo.
You already know. The ones that are more notable in the city, the well-known, got that shirt. But back to you. You can't hear it, but I'm dropping bombs. I'm hitting horns and all that over here. You feel me? So, Mr. Justin.
Yes, sir.
Justin Ashby.
Yep.
Let the people know, because I know you. Obviously, they don't. Let the people know where you reside, where you grew up at, and then we're going to get into the, you know, how you got to where you're at today and all that. So tell them where you grew up at, what school, your childhood a little bit, and then we'll get into the fun stuff after that.
Yeah, man. Honestly, just born and raised in Lancaster. Grew up on Reservoir Street. Walking distance to all the schools. So Wickersham, Lincoln, McCaskey. Ended up at Burley's for a little bit in high school.
Hold on. They didn't hear what you said because I put the bomb all the way up. I put the horns all the way up.
Is it still called Burley's?
I think it's called Camelot now.
Camelot.
I know that joint sound a little aki. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you grew up in the trenches around between 05, I'm gonna say 05. But you was probably there beforehand. When did you graduate?
I graduated 05. I was supposed to be 04.
Oh, okay.
Had to do 8th grade twice.
Okay, listen.
Knucklehead in middle school.
Hey, man, so it is what it is. Is it more so just you acting up, or you just didn't hand in your work, or you was just beating people up? Like, what's up with that?
Immaturity, just smart mouth. I didn't like. I think it started at an early age. I didn't like authority. Like, I just hated people talking down to me, and I think I had teachers doing that. Obviously, I probably gave them a reason to do it, but ended up just getting suspended a lot in 8th grade. Most of it talking back. I had a fight in a cafeteria that like got out of hand, so that was like a 10-day suspension. Repeated 8th grade. Finally got through. Went to 9th grade. Got in some more trouble. Okay. Had to go to night school for the rest of 9th grade. 10th grade, back to McCaskey. Again, didn't really work out. Got suspended like right before Christmas, which was like kind of like my thing. I used to always try to get a longer Christmas break.
So you get a longer break. So if you out there scamming, want to know how to finesse it, get in trouble before your Christmas break so you can have 3 weeks, a whole month possibly.
10 days wasn't enough.
But if your mom or dad be whipping your ass, I don't recommend that.
Yeah.
Because discipline is not fun when you're a child.
And I got that too. So
just
didn't learn, man. I didn't learn, and ended up in Burley's, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Like, I was kind of worried about going there. I had some friends and stuff there, but ended up going there. I had a teacher that was dope as shit, man. She she ended up letting me drive her car after school. Like when I got my permit, she would take me to McDonald's after school and everything. This girl looked like Stacy Keebler, man.
Oh,
and I always tell this one story. It's funny because sometimes I wish I could find her. Like I was so close to her.
If you were discretion,
No,
do I got to put that at the bottom?
Nope. Nah, it's not that bad.
All right.
But we had a situation where at that time I was selling CDs, DVDs, and stuff like that, bootlegs, because at that time, like, you had to burn your CDs and stuff like that when you wanted to get them instead of going to the store and buying it. So I was selling just different DVDs and stuff like that, and one of them I was selling was Girls Gone Wild back in the day.
Hey, yo.
Which was crazy.
the commercial that popped on at 2 in the morning.
Yep. So anyway.
$20 for the DVD, by the way.
Yeah.
Or the VHS.
And my teacher, Ms. Benjamin, and I ended up, she saw after class, she was like, what are you selling? Let me see what you got. Because she was into music and stuff like that. She was like 24, 25 years old. She saw the Girls Gone Wild I have. She was like, don't bring that back no more. I was like, what are you going to do? Tell me, like, we're cool. So I thought it was just kind of like a
friendly relationship, John. Like,
and she was like, did you watch it? And I was like, no, why? She said, watch it and we'll talk tomorrow. So I go home, like, skim through it. She's on it.
Hey, yo. Your teacher on that, John.
My teacher was on it, man.
Exposed.
Flashing.
Amazing.
So.
Damn, man. I wish I had a story like that. Shit.
Oh, man. Like, I had such a good relationship with her, and she really, honestly helped me get over that hump because, like, school just didn't mean much to me at that time. Like, I hated learning all the dumb shit that you got to learn, like 5n to the second power, square root of things, like just stuff
shit that you're not gonna add use in life.
She let me get on like a computer system, like after class. I would stay there for an hour or two after class with her and get on this computer program, and I was catching up on all my credits. So stayed at Burley's for a year and a half, went back to McCaskey, 12th grade, and I was already so far ahead, like credit-wise. So I didn't have gym classes at night school or at Burley. So my senior year consisted of a computer class, a math class, and it was gym, lunch, and then I had one more class there.
Oh, shit. So you was basically wasting your day going there.
Yeah, just playing ball all day, and I would go to McDonald's for my first lunch, and I would go to, like, Wendy's or Taco Bell for the second lunch.
Hey, yo.
So,
talk about being ahead at the time, man.
Yeah, and it kind of just opened up my eyes a lot, even at, like, such an early age, because like I said, I started selling shoes in like 2002. I was going to Sneaker Villa, had a relationship at 16 years old with the manager at the time. And
what kind of relationship? Just a
just
mutual
good,
relationship?
Yeah, it was a good relationship too.
But you got a relationship with your teacher. I don't know what you were shooting at, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you hands on that.
So it was a good relationship. Two guys that I didn't know beforehand at all. I just started kind of shopping there, and they knew I would come in for like the new shoes. So they would start telling me like, hey, shipment comes in on Tuesday for like a shoe that comes out Saturday. So if you want it early, just come in and we got you.
Hey, yo.
So it got to that point where I would just go get my pair, and then I was like, you know what? Like there's certain shoes at that time that you could sell. And it wasn't big at that time. There was no social media platforms yet. You didn't have like the StockX's and Go or anything. You had eBay, and that was it. So I was using eBay as my platform. I would go buy 3 pairs, sell 2 of them, and then it would pay for my pair so I can keep it for myself, for my collection.
Right.
So
rock one, stock one.
Yeah.
That's the phrase. If you're not a sneakerhead, that's the joint.
So it got to that point, but it just to kind of backtrack a little bit, even from like a younger age. I'm talking back in early middle school. I would go to it's right there on Broad and Orange Street. It used to be called Joanne's, like a little deli there. And I would go, and it was all penny candies, Tootsie Rolls, sour watermelon slices, Swedish Fish. So I would get $2 every day for lunch that my dad would give me.
Oh, you're talking about where Ted is at? Ted's Deli.
I guess that's what it's called now. Yeah, right there on Broad and
at
Orange.
the light.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you how I know that right now because I've been around.
I would literally buy 200 pieces of candy for $2. Everything was a penny back then. So I would take that to school.
With the clear wrapper.
Yeah, I would sell it literally individual pieces. I would buy like a pack of Winter Fresh for 25 cents, sell it for 75 cents. So just started like that, and then it kind of jumped to like Pokemon cards. Like I was not into Pokemon, never watched it, never played it, didn't understand it. But I saw like an avenue there to make money. So started buying the cards at a comic book store down by the train station. I would go to
They're
Green
still
Dragon.
there,
Yeah,
actually.
They're still kicking.
That little comic store shop.
Yep.
It's directly across from the train station, a little plaza. I think they got a sushi spot. Escape room is in that same plaza. But I didn't know they was in business for that long.
I used to ride my bike over there, and like wintertime and stuff, I would shovel snow, and once I would get the money from shoveling random people's houses of snow and stuff like that. Like, take that money, I would take the bus or something and go to Park City and go to Bob's Sports and buy stuff. So I would buy those cards and I was just selling it. I would go to Green Dragon and Roots and stuff like that and just sell it to older people. And that kind of went, like, it was just candy, Pokemon cards, Pogs, and Slammers and stuff back then, which is way back. But it kind of just, I wouldn't even say prepared me, because it's not like I had that trajectory or like that goal at that time of like, hey, I want to sell sneakers. But
Yeah.
as it got to the point, like, I was always into sneakers, being a basketball fan and everything like that. So just started seeing stuff, and then it wasn't like it is now. Now you got shoes that come out every single week. Like, back then you would get like one new Jordan a month, and it's not like they would always resell either. So it's kind of like pick and choose. You'd have a couple times out of the year.
Yeah. Now
that you can make some money on it. So.
Now, before we get into the whole sneaker game and all that, when did you realize that you had sort of like, because that's a gift in itself, to have that hustle and ambition, and that's something that you can't teach. You see what I'm saying? Like, you gotta somehow be raised or be in a situation where you want to go out and get it. Yep. You feel me? Because a lot of people, and this age and this generation, these kids are spoiled compared to the way we was coming up. You see what 100%. I'm saying? They wasn't their parents wasn't in the situation that our parents was, putting our names on the cable bill and all that just to get that type of luxury in your house, or just food stamps and all that. You see what I'm saying? Now, they shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? They're not in that era, but sometimes that could be a blessing or a curse in itself, because you tend to get lazy. You don't want to get that hustle, and everything is, I'm going to go to mommy, I'm going to go to daddy, they're going to bless me. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying, if you don't got that hustle, that want to go get it for yourself, you're not going to be able to grow. When did you know, right? Because you said you went to Burley's and the schools and all that. When did you know that you had a gift when it came to the concept of entrepreneurship? Like, what age would you say you started getting into the, you know what, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to flip it? Because you over here bagging up candy like it's some work or something.
I don't think it was till, honestly, later in life. I think it was maybe when I opened my first store, because, like, I never, even with all the stores and up and downs and success that I've had, like, I never am satisfied. So it's like, no matter what, like, I can make so much money this time or make this much money off of a pair of sports tickets or a concert tickets or a pair of shoes or something like that. But it just, I don't even want to say like it felt natural. It was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't even know where I got it from. My mom always says I got it kind of like from my grandmother in Germany.
You have German?
Yeah. So go to Germany every year to visit family. But anyway.
Oh, that's tough. I never knew that.
Yeah. So my whole like childhood, I'm going over there for a month at a time and stuff in the summer. And my grandmother and my grandfather there, they would go to flea markets every weekend and sell stuff there. Like, my mom would buy stuff here at yard sales and different places here. She would send it to Germany. They would take it to the flea markets and stuff and sell it. So, like, it was like, my grandmother was like a hustler. Yeah. So it's like, I think I picked up on that, because here, everybody in my family is pretty much hard workers, but like none of them were entrepreneurs. Yeah. Like my brother, factory worker, my dad, factory worker, my mom's worked in the school district. Okay. And these are people that have worked 25, 28 days straight. Like I got to see that, like the work ethic I think I get from them. Okay. But the entrepreneurship and like I guess like the hustler's mentality
from your grandma.
I would say either from my grandma or just kind of just see, like I always seen things that I wanted. Like there's always items or materialistic things that I've always wanted or wanted to have. And now that I'm older, I look at like vacations at how I would look at back in the day, like a new pair of shoes or a jersey or a new fitted or something like that. So I think it just kind of spiraled as I continued getting older like that. I just wanted more and more and more and more.
That's tough, man. You know what? We got two things in common. Now, I didn't get to be able to chime in because, you know, you got into your storyline and all that, but I did also go to Burley's. Blessing in disguise. Shout out to the teachers over there. If you went through Burley's and you graduated, you made it out the mud for real, man, because those were the actual teachers that really cared for you. They wasn't just letting you pass like the rumor of McCaskey. They let you pass with D's and all that. You know, no, they really care for you over there. And another thing we got in common is your grandma was a hustler in the flea market. My grandma was a hustler in the streets. Hey. Not gonna lie to you. Hey. Not gonna lie to you. She was moving at work. So mama, I love you. And y'all know who that is. Y'all know who that is. And stop lying to your grandchildren talking about you wasn't getting into that. But anyway, moving on past that, right? we're gonna get into the sneaker game. When did it click that you was like, you know what, there's a movement with the sneakers that you went into the whole eBay, and then what grew from eBay to the HeatCheck? Like, how did you get that brand, that concept, the logo, and all that?
I would say like my first like big hit that I guess gave me like a sense of satisfaction was 2006. It was the Jordan 6 and 11 DMP pack.
I was gonna wear the sixes today too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So that pack came out. It was, I believe, retail was $295. So some places were charging like $310
For what? Both pairs or for one?
They both came in
In the
a
bundle
gold box.
Yep,
Yep.
with the so it was the gold box.
Yeah, it was a gold box. It wasn't the countdown packs from like 09
Okay,
and
that's
2010.
not the one with the American, that it came with the American flag,
Nah,
right?
that was years later. That was 2015, I think it was.
Okay.
So anyway, the DMP pack, Sneaker Villa downtown had 8 packs. I ended up getting 7 of them. An employee took 1.
Hey.
The next closest place that we had that got those was King of Prussia, and it wasn't the Foot Locker or nothing like that. There was a store called Athlete's Foot. They had 3 of them, and I ended up going down there. And this is like, camping out was like a thing like in Chicago, New York, LA, like the bigger cities. Like in our area, like people didn't camp out for shoes yet. So
Yeah.
I took 2 of my boys that were in high school at that time. I was 2 years out of high school or a year out of high school, and paid them, bought them breakfast. Like, hey, come with me. I need you to get me these shoes. So
they're like, shit, free breakfast. I'm
Yeah.
sliding. That's what.
Yep.
That's what they was wanting.
So paying roughly $300 for this pack, it was selling at that time for about $750, which is
no
crazy.
way.
So I ended up with about 10 of those. I sold 8 and kept 2 for myself. So made decent money there. And at that time, I was a manager at Lids at Tanger Outlet, and then I was working like night shift at Pepperidge Farm factory, going up towards like Denver exit or whatever.
All right.
So started seeing like, all right, I just made this much money in a day's work. Like, what am I doing? Like, working. Like, and I bounced around like no bullshit. I had, by the time I was 20 years old, I probably worked 25 jobs. And there was jobs that I would start, like Donnelly, for example, took a lunch break and I quit my first day.
Oh shit.
Dark Container, same thing. I did a whole day, didn't come back.
And that's wild because
So-
those are jobs that, like, when you're coming from the bottom, those were the like
Yeah,
to
it was
make
the
it
good
out.
pounds. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Those were the like, yo, you're in Donnelly. Oh, you're in Dart. You're in
Yeah.
Kellogg's.
Yep.
You're in Johnson and Johnson.
Yep.
If you coming up from where we was coming up from the mud, once you was in those type of establishments,
You stayed for the most part.
exactly, that you were set.
It honestly wasn't for me. And I did high school. I worked at Finish Line. I worked at Willow Valley as like a dishwasher. I went Cactus Willie's. People that remember that, I was working there.
I think they're still out there too, next to the driving station
Nah,
or
they
the
closed
license
like 10
center.
years ago.
For real?
Yeah, it was like an AT&T now.
Yo,
But-
no way.
Yeah, so even that, like I tried everything. I did retail, I did restaurant, did factory. Worked at Nike, got fired for reselling shoes, which is like kind of just part of the story. Like, you're working there, you sign a contract when you work at Nike that you're not going to resell shoes. So I was buying stuff with my employee discount. I would go to Nike Town, New York, and I would return it. I wouldn't tell them I'm an employee. I would just return it like I'm a customer with no receipt, and I would get full price for it. So like I'd buy something at Nike for like $40 or $50, and then take it there and return it for $150 or something like that. Get
Yeah.
the gift cards and kind of
Just
doing
start
that for a
flipping.
while.
So you was out here scamming before scamming was a thing.
They called on. They pulled me into the office one day. I went into work. They had like surveillance on me in New York and everything like that.
Hey,
So I
you
ended up
had to cool it down. Let me
they
chill a
fired
little
me right
bit.
there, which is crazy. So this is my senior year of high school. Got fired, started working at Texas Roadhouse a little bit, and then right after I graduated high school, I actually started here at Park City at Lids as an assistant manager. 2 months later, I became the store manager when they had the grand opening at Tanger Outlet. And at that time, it was right above Nike. So when I went over there as a store manager, I took 2 of my friends out of Nike and brought them up to me at Lids. I gave them assistant manager and like a key holder position. So that was a fun time just because the whole thing, like Nike managers came up, tried to like curse me out for doing what I did there. But it kind of just started carrying over. Same thing with like the hats. Like I was finding different things that would resell and kept going.
You was over there, assistant manager at Lids on top of Nike.
Yep.
Over there. When did you ended up taking the concept of I'm gonna buy these shoes, I'm gonna put them on eBay, to then having your own website? Because I remember your website from back in the day, and it was simple. It was like a MySpace layout.
Yeah.
You had the dude. I think you still got that logo.
It's
The
on,
dude shooting the sneaker.
You can see it on top of that Keymaster over there, like the game. I mean.
Oh, okay. When we go outside or
Capture
whatever.
that later,
All right.
yeah.
So peep game, right? So at the time, the internet was becoming a thing where you could, sell stuff besides eBay. There was other there wasn't no Instagram or nothing at the time. So you had to actually go on the website, and it was his logo, and it was, I guess, the sizes of the shoes.
It had it broken down in sizes and stuff
Okay.
like that, yeah.
It'll have the sizes of the shoes. You click on your size, and it was an actual boxed picture.
Yeah.
Like, it was a boxed picture. You click on the picture, and then it had the price underneath, which was a crazy amount at the time. How did you end up, like, because the technology was so limited at the time?
Yeah.
How was you able to, take the picture, upload it? Like, was there a hassle doing so, trying to update your website with what you was bringing in?
That was
with the shoes?
was honestly the headache back then, because even today, like technology wise, I'm so far behind. It's not a strong point for me. So back then, every time I was putting a sneaker on the website, I had to physically take a picture of it. So I had a mentor of mine, a friend of mine. He had his own website called InStyle Shoes at that time, and he set me up with like a little studio. I would just put it on like a table like the size of this. Bought a professional camera, and I would like take it, then I would have to edit it, crop it, put it on the website and stuff like that.
Oh, damn.
So it was for me to put one product up on like the website was like a
Time-consuming
10-minute thing. Yeah, it was a headache. So I started a website 2011. So we're back 14 years now when I first started that website. And it just, I still did eBay at that time, but I was doing a website as well just to kind of get rid of paying eBay the fees that they were charging. And that was around the time that the Concords came out that holiday season. And 2012, you get like the Galaxy Pack, the foam posits.
Yeah, that was the heavy hitter. And the Concords were so. The Concords was such a shoe that everybody and their mom was trying to get either for their kids or for themselves.
Yep.
It was just one of those impactful like shoes that once you had them, like you couldn't pay no more on the minimum side. It was $500 at the time to get that Concord.
Yep, and that was the Concord in 2011 was like the first shoe that I've ever seen Lancaster camp out for. Talking about Villa everywhere, every sneaker store around, people were like lined up for that shoe in the morning.
I came for the breads.
Yeah.
That holiday season, I think it was 2012. I came for the breads. It was like I think it was like a day and a half. We had a tent outside and all that.
Yep. So it was once it started really blowing up like that, because 2007 and 2010 was really slow for like the sneaker market. Like if I wanted to kind of do the sneaker thing by itself back then, I couldn't. So again, just to backtrack a couple years, I moved to Florida in 2007. Didn't work out for me there. I was supposed to get a job as a store manager at Champs out there. Didn't work out. Moved back home, couple more dead-end jobs, and then I started going to college. So 5 years after high school, my son was born a month prior. I started going to HEC and took some business management classes and stuff. I made it to my third semester, and my professor I had at that time, he owned a store which is still here in Lancaster called Inside Track.
Oh, I actually go there.
Yeah.
I go there for the running shoes and all that. I be running outside for the cardio. I actually got my Brooks over there. Yeah. Wonderful people over there. Shout out to Inside Track. Listen, Inside Track, man, I'm looking out for a sponsorship. If you want to go ahead and shout me out for some shoes and all that on a discount. Yep. They let you buy shoes and then return them like a month or so if you're not, satisfied with your shoe or whatever. But yeah, shout out to them over there.
Now it's not the same owner no more, but like at that time that he owned Inside Track, he was also professor at HEC. So I took a marketing class from him. I took an e-commerce class from him, and I think a business management class. So after I took those classes and I worked on a couple projects there, kind of picked his brain, I was like, I'm done. I'm ready.
I was gonna say
I didn't need college no more.
I was gonna say like the classes that they show you, you felt as though or the classes that you was taking. My bad.
Yeah.
Did you feel as though you already had that? Is it just helping you understand the format of business, supply, demand? How to invest for like inventory, stuff like that. Like, do you really necessarily need to get those classes in order to get into entrepreneurship?
It just
and do you recommend them for help or not?
It's different for everyone. It depends on like your upbringing, kind of like your mentality and stuff like that too. So the fact that I've been selling stuff before that, I kind of had an idea. So like my first 2 semesters there was all your like prerequisites or whatever, like all the required classes. Like I had to take a music class and a writing class, like stuff. Again, it wasn't gonna pertain to what I wanted to do, but I was taking those classes, and then that 3rd semester, once I took those classes, it was stuff that I did know, and then there was also stuff I didn't know, and like the e-commerce side of it is what really intrigued me because I didn't want to own a physical store. That was never my goal.
Yeah.
I never wanted to own a physical store.
You saw the future.
Yeah, so it was like, for me, it was just online because there wasn't many physical stores out there at that time. Like Flight Club was top of the line back then. But as far as like physical stores, like mostly every store at that time wasn't a consignment store like what I have. It was a retail store. So you had to deal with Nike or Reebok.
Yeah, have a representative come out and then see why do you qualify to be our customer, whatever. Get it for the low, sell it for the high.
I researched the hell out of that, and again, I was naive at first, thinking like, oh, okay, like I can go and just buy all the Jordans and get all the retros, like they're gonna sell by themselves, and I'll double my money because your cost is between 48 and 52% of what the retail price is.
Yeah.
So at that time, if a Jordan's $200 at your Foot Locker or whatever, if I would have had my own retail store, I'm paying 98 to 102 on it. But
damn, that's how cheap they are.
Yeah, that's to this day. Foot Locker and all them paying it. So like when people come in here and always ask for discounts, bro. When people come in here and be like, "Oh, can I get a discount?" I'm like, you don't go to Foot Locker and ask that question.
Yeah, you pay the retail.
You're paying $100 over. You're paying 100% markup on every sneaker you buy at Foot Locker.
But that's them not knowing.
They don't. But then they'll come here to like a small business and shit on me because like that shoe costs $200 at Foot Locker. Well, it's sold out there and now it's going for $300 online, so I'm charging $325 or $350 here. Like I have the overhead and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
and
they might not see.
You have the advantage too compared to like the StockX and the GOATs and all that because you have it physically here. They don't got to pay for shipping. They could just come in here and pick it up. Now, besides Jordans, you have an amazing collection of LeBrons.
Yep.
Or you had it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have literally every single pair. Was there a strategy behind that where you like, you know what? I know he's going to be the next best player. I have to get every shoe. Like, was that an investment for you at the time?
Nah, because, I mean, even looking at what you guys see now is like me as like the reseller, the guy with the store and stuff like that. I was always a collector first. And LeBron, coming out of high school, like I seen him play in Philly in person in 11th grade. So, like, I was following him since 10th grade, which a lot of people were. And I couldn't wait for him to get to the league. So when he got to the league, even before he got to the league, he signed with Nike, which I was happy about because I was like, I don't want to wear Adidas or Reebok or anything if he signed with them. So anyway, when his first shoe came out, I was actually working at Finish Line, and we had a whole like promo thing, like name tag and everything that we had to wear for the LeBron Air Zoom generation. So I was getting most of his colorways back then and stuff like that, and it wasn't until the LeBron 4 came out in 2007, which was his 4th signature shoe, that I really started getting into like the samples and the P's, the stuff that you can't buy anywhere.
The exclusivity, the rare sneaks.
It never releases. Like you can only get that if you know somebody at Nike or know somebody in like LeBron's circle or like somebody that's like a big collector that obtained it that's now trying to sell it. So I really started hunting down like those kind of shoes. And once LeBron went to Miami in 2008, he opened a store out there with Frankie Walker, one of his like childhood friends and stuff like that. I already had a contact with Frankie and other people in LeBron's circle, his high school teammates, coaches, stuff like that. So I was getting stuff directly from LeBron's like right-hand man. I bought shoes off of his mom. Like I got stuff off of different people. And at that time, I was getting almost any of the extra pairs that would like get out there. So like I'm dictating the market on stuff like that. So that was another reason why I wanted to have the website, because instead of me putting it on eBay, me putting it on the website like drives traffic there where people can see everything else I have, not just those LeBrons.
Right.
So as I'm amassing this big collection of LeBrons, like I'm also buying some of the stuff that people have never seen before and that you can't get.
Yeah.
Now as eBay got bigger and then Twitter was around at that time.
Hashtags helped you out to expose and all that, to get the reach or the engagements. Now, besides the LeBrons, I even peeped, you were getting like Grammy-worn Yeezys or whatever. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, how were you able to access those kind of sneakers? Was it the relationships that you was building? Like, how'd you get to that relationship with LeBron's peoples and all that? And then how did you reach out to get like the Yeezys, the Red Octobers and all that, the samples, the worn, you know, live to put it up in auction? Because I think you posted them Yeezys for like, what, 22 grand or 75 grand?
Way more than that. So I'll touch on the Yeezy in a second, but the relationships that I built, especially with LeBron's circle, I was actually at a sneaker event back in the day, and like these sneaker events back in the day weren't what they are now. Like the sneaker cons, like everybody's going there to buy and sell and trade. Back then it was about displaying. So anyway, I was out there for an event which was on like a Sunday, but I went out Friday to like Monday. Friday or Saturday I went to LA Fitness, and I ended up playing ball there, and I was playing with one of LeBron's teammates in high school, his little brother, and I won't dive into like too much of who he is, but he saw what I was wearing on my feet. I was wearing a pair of like Fruity Pebble LeBrons at that time, and that was like a $5,000-$6,000 shoe. Again, nobody can get their hands on.
Is that the white one?
That was it's the white LeBron 4, and it has like the Fruity Pebbles all over the side. So we ended up exchanging contact information. He was like, "Hey, I can get my hands on some stuff you might want." So it went from there to him kind of connecting me to like different people and stuff like that. For the stuff like the Grammy Yeezy, now there's a lot of different like Jordans, LeBrons, and other athletes and stuff where I was able to get my hands on like some of their shoes. Some of it isn't really relationship based. It's just kind of like finding it on eBay or having the right connections of people you know that know somebody that can get something that you want. But that Grammy Yeezy, again, just to kind of go back to the website, that is what really blew my website up. But that shoe I didn't tell nobody about. That was at my very first grand opening in 2015 when I opened my first physical store. Yeah. So I had a really good friend of mine that I knew for over 10 years at that time. He knew I was opening a store, and he was like, "Hey, I got some stuff that I want to put in your store. I want to consign with you. I want to sell to you." And when he brought some of that stuff, man, like that was the top of the line piece there. That was a one of one. It was worn by Kanye at the 50th Grammys. It was the first Yeezy anyone had ever seen. No one knew that he had a shoe coming out with Nike.
And that was the black and pink Nike.
No, it wasn't pink. It was just kind of all black with a white swoosh on it because it was a prototype at that time.
Oh, it was a sample. Okay.
So it was a prototype, and this was months and months and months before an official release ever happened. So like the shoe still had a lot of different variations. But the value of that shoe was he performed in it. He wore it for the 50th Grammys, performed a song for his mom, who just passed away, called Mama. So anyway, that shoe went up to auction. After he wore it, he had to give it back to Nike, give Nike their feedback and stuff like that. So Nike did an auction, and I think this is 2008 or something like that. They did an auction to raise money for Dornbecker Children's Hospital and auction that shoe off. I think it only sold for like $8,000 at that time, right? Yeah. So
Dornbecker, by the way, is a collab with Jordan that the kids draw or whatever, and they put the design of the drawing that the kids draw onto the actual sneaker.
Yep. So they do that with Nike.
If y'all don't know.
Not just with Jordan. They're doing different things, Air Maxes, and they did pennies and stuff like that already too, phone posits. Anyway, to go back to that shoe, it ended up in my hands 5 years later, and I was like, all right, let me break the internet for my grand opening. I had a lot of other stuff that was gonna be crazy too. So I put that shoe up at $75,000 at my grand opening.
Hold on. Say that again.
$75,000. So now this is. You think that's?
Come on, man. Come on. See, I wish you could hear the bombs,
the part's gonna get bad. The part gets bad for me. Like it sounds like it's about to be a good story, and you'll see how it gets bad. But anyway, put it up for $75,000 that day. It got picked up by all like the sneaker blogs, like Entertainment Tonight picked it up. People Magazine, Us Weekly, they all picked it up. So that same day, Grammy Museum calls me, offers me $20,000. I say no. Chris Brown calls the store, offers like $25,000. Told him no. I had somebody else call and offer like $32,000. I was like, nope. It's like, this is the price or whatever. If I'm getting all these calls first day, it's gonna sell. So anyway, I had it, and now we're a year later, and I still have it at $75,000. Didn't sell. I had it on eBay and a website, so I dropped it down to $50,000. Fast forward another like 10 months or something like that, and then this guy from Australia reaches out to me. He was like, hey, like, I really want to buy it. The most I can do, I think it was $32,000, right? So he was like, I'll give you a $10,000 bank wire today, and I'll fly out to you next week. So I was like, all right. Like I already kind of
Sat on it.
I sat on it for 2 years. I got all the benefits out of it, all the
The
notoriety
publicity
from it.
and all that. To
And then
grow your website.
So and with it being on my website, anytime somebody would Google like Yeezy Grammy shoe or whatever, it would show my website. So like I got a lot of money outside the shoe before the shoe sold. So anyway, I sell it to this guy. He was a collector. Told me he wanted it for himself. 3 days later, it's in Flight Club for $130,000. So he bought it off of me, took it to Flight Club.
Bomb drop.
Yeah, so he put it for $100,000 more.
So
Now,
why didn't you try to like give it directly to like a Flight Club or something? You felt as though they was gonna low blow you.
I think it's a pride thing because I had my own store, my own consignment store that I also sell my own products at. I never, to this day, unless I'm forgetting something, I've never consigned at another store. So it was kind of like one of them things. Like I want to sell it on my own. But anyway, he put it at Flight Club. I don't know what happened. I don't know if someone bought it for that price or what. But it came off of Flight Club's site a couple weeks or a couple months later. Fast forward to COVID. COVID happens. Everyone's stuck in the house. Prices of sports cards are going up. Like Nintendo Switches are selling for $500. Everything's kind of going up. So I see my
I bought
pair.
a Switch for $400.
Yeah, and this is again. This is a one-of-one shoe. It's the only one in the world. So I see this shoe get put up on Sotheby's auction, which is one of the biggest auction houses in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take a guess of what the shoe sold for?
The Yeezy.
Yeah.
The sample that you had.
Yeah.
And you said you sold it for 32.
I sold it for 32, and then
At the
someone put
time.
it in Flight Club for 130,000 in like 2019.
All right, so before I give you this answer,
Yeah.
was this after he left Nike?
Yeah, he was already with Adidas. He was already with Adidas in 2015 already. So this is we're now 5 years later after he left Nike, and
I'm gonna say a quarter mil.
and you can Google this. So anyone that thinks I'm lying when they're watching this, sold for $1.6 million.
No way.
Bro, 1.6 million. And
Yo,
this is a
and
shoe
you had it.
I couldn't give it away for 50,000 2 years prior. So
what point?
now again, a guy
I
that
know
bought
that
it,
jaw hurt.
So,
that
yeah.
jaw hurt. That
I was
jaw
getting,
hurt
I was
my
getting
pocket.
clowned. People were clowning me like, you blew it, like,
Bro.
you fumbled a bag.
You didn't think before you get into the you didn't think to like hit up like the Sotheby's or nothing?
No,
like,
because
or you
that
didn't,
wasn't-
or you
again-
didn't just want to hold it. You're like, yo, this is a nice ass shoe. It's a grail. Like
They weren't touching shoes really at that moment. The only shoes you would see them really sell was like something that was like game worn by MJ. Like I think the flu game sold Michael Jordan's game worn flu game. I might be wrong. It sold either right before that Yeezy or right after because that was the most expensive shoe ever sold at that time, and I think it was like 1.1 million or something like that. And the Yeezy blew it out of the water. So that shoe I had became the most expensive shoe sold in the entire world ever at that point. So
got him.
Now-
Hold on. Got him.
So the guy that bought it, he was a former NFL player, and
What
he
the
started his own company called Rares, which was, I think it was a good concept. It just wasn't executed right. So what he was doing is like he was trying to buy like these high-end items, and then he was trying to sell shares of it like stocks. So like he paid 1.6 million for this, and then he's trying to sell X amount of stocks where he can kind of get his money back, where he still has possession of the shoe, but you might own 1% of that shoe.
So if it was to sell,
Yeah,
then
so
the
then everybody-
percentage that you owe
Yeah.
will get your cut at the end.
So anyway, market started correcting itself as all that free money started drying up from COVID and everything like that. And he ended up going out of business. And when he went to like resell it, it only sold for, and I say only, which is still crazy, but it only sold for 600,000 then, which is still 600,000 more than what I got.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a funny story to kind of tell that. I mean, I can't really look back on it as a loss because there's so many other shoes that
I mean, but you
I
still
made good money on. So
you still came up though off that 32K though, right?
Yeah, I
so
mean,
it was a
I
plus
made
on
money.
you, but it was just like wow, like like I had the chance to be a millionaire at the
yeah,
time
if I would have held
off
on
of
to
a
that
shoe.
for 2 years more.
Damn,
Yeah.
man, life lesson. Sometimes you just gotta hold on to it
Yeah.
a little bit more, but you also gotta go with your gut and to stay afloat.
Yeah.
As far as entrepreneurship, so from the website,
Yeah.
you ended up getting a physical store, right? Columbia Avenue.
Avenue, yeah. Wheatland Shopping Center.
Okay, I know exactly where that's at. How did you come about with that store?
Me and my childhood friend, Andre Cole, he was someone that I knew since 9th grade. We actually went to Burley's together.
Okay.
He was actually, I'm talking like 2014. I believe he was still locked up at that time, but we kept in contact like here and there, and like he was telling me like when he gets out, like he wants to kind of do everything right and kind of get into business. And I was trying to open a store at that time too, because just there were so many other resellers popping up at that time, just Facebook resellers that were like undercutting me, and they didn't have the overhead I had, even with the website, like having to pay for the web hosting and shipping and everything like that. So wanted to open a store. Dre wanted to open a store. I was looking everywhere. I tried to get in Park City. They said no. I was looking at Manor Shopping Center. They said no. Looked downtown. It was too expensive. And then Wheatland Shopping Center, we took a look at that, and it was 2,500 square feet. And Dre said he was with it. I was with it. So we ended up planning that out together, where it was like he had his own store, I had my own store. So it was 2 stores under one roof.
Oh, shit.
The HeatCheck Fresh Boutique. So we wanted.
Oh, that's his shit right here?
So
the clothing part?
So that was. So like I don't own any of the clothing. I never did. So like in this store, Legacy's different. Now here, yeah, I never owned the clothing. Like I always had a partner there. So Dre ended up just recently getting out of it. I mean, he was just kind of like drained from it. It's kind of been an up and down business, but he was more than just someone that wanted to sell clothing. Like he had other ambitions as well. And
yeah.
like,
and this is your childhood friend.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna drop a bomb on that, because I don't know your boy or whatever, but for that man to hit you up right after a situation where, you know, if I keep going down this road, I might be up in this box for a little bit.
Yeah.
And to hit up a person and be like, you know what, I want to do right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And you're still in business or in contact with that person. You helped them out, you know, to this day, man. A lot of people would take that as a pride thing. Yeah. They wouldn't even open their mouth to do so. I'm gonna give a shout out to that man for doing that, because you want to know something. You overcame something from being from the bottom. And like I said, I don't know the dude or nothing, but bro, now it's like if you're asking for help, you're hurting.
Yeah, but
you see what I'm saying? Like
he wanted to do it together.
It's a lot of pride thing when you're coming through the trenches and all that. A lot of people don't like to ask for no help, especially to have that relationship where y'all two are still cool and still can be able to do business with each other and not have to bump heads or nothing. So matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and give a round of applause on that.
Yeah, he was and he helped me a lot too. So like we kind of fed off of each other. So I mean, he had his vision, I had my vision, and we kind of wanted a one-stop shop. So it was like, it was never like, this is Justin's store, this is Dre's store. It was like, this is our store.
That's tough.
It's two under the same roof.
That's tough. I'm smiling with you saying that, bro. That's tough. I'm gonna drop it.
And that was good. I mean, it was again, I think one of my
was talking about Mall of America and all that.
Yeah.
So you went from the Columbia Ave store, ended up expanding.
Yep.
You know, was the brand, the HeatCheck, your goal into expanding like throughout America? That you wanted to move it to Mall of America, if that makes sense?
No, it wasn't our idea at the beginning. Like I think we thought small, and we were just thinking like, all right, we're here in Lancaster, we're gonna have our store here.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I went to that mall a couple times with my dad. So like when we started talking about expanding, first thing I looked at was King of Prussia, and they wanted way too much money at that time. So we did Mall of America, and while we had Mall of America, we were able to relocate from Columbia Avenue over here to Park City in the Boscov's wing.
Mm-hmm.
So Mall of America just didn't work. It just wasn't working. The staff was shitty there. People were still in.
Is it hard to manage a spot that you're not physically there all the time?
100%. There was times I would get a call like from one of my employees like, hey, like found another job. Like today's my last day, and I gotta tell my wife like, hey, I gotta fly out tonight to Minnesota. I don't know when I'll be back.
Oh shit.
So it was like, yeah, and I had a young daughter at that time. My son was what was he? 2018. My son was about almost 10 years old, but still, my daughter was young. So it was definitely hard to try to do that.
Affecting your family home life when it came to that.
I think my son, my third child, I think was born in 2018. So it's
Damn,
around the time where he was born. So my daughter was 4, but still, like trying to get up and just have to go to another state and make it work.
I was gonna say, like, how many kids you got, man? Like,
I'm at 3.
Oh,
16, 10, and 6. So.
Damn, bro, you wasn't playing no games, putting in that work. I'm still trying to shoot for the boy when that time comes. I got 2 girls.
Yep.
Shout out Big Me and Big Tubby. He be watching y'all videos.
Hey.
Anyway, so Mall of America happened. It wasn't going swell. How did you end up branching out to back here from the HeatCheck to then leading into Legacy out there, King of Prussia?
Yeah. So me and Dre had this here. And for those of you that do or don't know Dre, he also got into the restaurant business. He was the owner at Blazing J's. So he opened a chicken spot.
Oh, the spot downtown.
Yeah, and it was downstairs here in Park City as well.
Oh shit.
So he started doing that.
That's tough.
Yeah, he didn't. Not that he had to
I was
ask or
tearing
anything.
her. I was tearing her chicken tenders up.
Not that he had to ask or anything like that, but it was like he had my blessing to do that. That was something he was passionate about, an opportunity that was presented to him. And just because we had this business together didn't mean we had to be tied in anywhere else. So, again, another one of my longtime friends that I met through sneakers back in like 2004, 2005. A friend of mine, Panit, he's from New York, and me and him were doing business every year like with each other, where I'm buying stuff off of him, he's buying stuff off of me, and he was like, I want to try to open a store if you decide to do another one. So we had a couple conversations. COVID happened, and during COVID we just kind of started reaching out to different malls and stuff like that, and then King of Prussia reached back out to me after a couple years after I turned him down.
Now, when you said COVID, right? A lot of spaces weren't being filled because, everybody had to stay inside.
Yep.
Were you willing to use that as a tool to negotiate your lease per month or your term on leasing?
100%. So at that time, like, malls started getting desperate, and that's why King of Prussia reached back out to me, because I turned them down years prior because it was just too much for the rent, and I told them that. So when they reached back out to me, they were like, hey, I think we got an opportunity that works for you. So we went out there, and the mall still closed at this time because things didn't reopen until like July. Like the world shut down in March, end of July, middle of July is when things started reopening. So we went out there, checked the space out, and they weren't doing no long-term leases at that time, but they were doing like year to year. So we signed a 1-year deal, me and Panit there, and like he didn't want to piggyback off of HeatCheck. So we were like, all right, what are we going to call it? Came up with the name Legacy.
Oh, shit.
So
that's like a separate
thing,
but
completely
it's just
separate,
between
and
you
completely
and him.
different partner or whatever.
Okay.
So Dre wasn't affiliated with that one.
Okay.
So we opened up Legacy 10/10/20, October 10th of 2020, and very uncertain times. Like we didn't know what to expect. Like we didn't know if the mall was gonna be like super dead or not. But we opened up, and again, like this is the time where everybody's scamming PPPs and getting unemployment plus
spend that money. Spend that money over here. That's why you over there smiling and laughing.
Yeah.
That was the best time. What was your worst month and your best month over there at Legacy?
Over there, I would say the worst month was our first month, and our first month was still good. It was probably better than anything I ever had here at Park City. Best month, we did 1.2 million over there. So. Yeah, man. So, and that was
$1 million month.
Yeah.
$1 million month. That's what I'm talking about. See, I get hype hearing them numbers because one day, hopefully, I get to be a millionaire sometime.
Yeah.
Man.
So,
Lord willing. But damn.
It was, and it happened quick. So our first 3 months, like October to December of 2020, each month progressively got better, and we weren't spending no money on we weren't taking any money for ourselves. Every dollar that we made got reinvested right back into the business. We need more inventory. And January was great. February really took off. So now you got people still getting all this free money plus taxes at that time. So that was our first $1 million.
Valentine's Day, they like the his and her shoes and all that.
The day before Valentine's Day was our first day that we did 100,000 in one day. So better than Black Friday. We did 105,000 that day in 2021.
105,000.
So,
I wish I had these problems, bro. What the fuck?
Like we knew what we had was great. We picked each other up. Like my weaknesses are his strengths and vice versa.
I was gonna ask
So we
that.
worked very well together. We had a good staff there and a great location, and it was just a great time. But we knew like this isn't gonna last forever. Again, everybody got free money right now, and they don't know what to do with it. And like I don't want to sound like a culture vulture. I know people like, oh, this white guy selling all these Jordans or whatever. Like he's not one of us. But like we had a store.
Oh, you really think that?
I mean, I can see how people think that. Like I'm authentically me. Like I don't ever try to fit in somewhere. I've always been the same. Like how you see me dressed now is how I dressed middle school and high school. I wear basketball shorts.
That's what you're
and
interested
Jordans.
in.
This is me. It's how I grew up.
Listen, every hood got a favorite white boy.
Yeah. So,
I'm just keeping it to be with
I'll
you.
be that. But anyway, we had a good thing going there, and I also knew like all the drug dealers, all the dope boys, all the like the inner city urban people, like what they want to do when they got money: jewelry, sneakers, bottles, like, and just
clothing,
have a good time.
now designer shit.
So yeah, so that like our store kind of fit right in there. So like we just had everybody like just coming in. They'll be like, "You got this shoe in a size 10?" We're like, "Nah, the biggest we got's an 8." They're like, "I'll take it." Like it was just
to
dumb.
have it.
Yeah, it was dumb. Like
Yo,
they
that's
just
crazy.
had that money. So again, we spent our first 7 or 8 months of that store just reinvesting everything back into the business, and then I had an idea of another company I wanted to start called Legacy Luxury Rentals. And it never panned out because we ended up losing the store about a year later. But
What store that? Is that the one that y'all was opening in New York?
no, this is still Legacy. Like Legacy Luxury Rentals was gonna be like I wanted to buy a bunch of exotic cars and rent it out because
Yeah, like on some Toro shit.
yeah. So we had once May came around. So we opened up in October. Once May came around, me and my partner.
My bad for cutting you off. That's where the Lambo came in.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So-
you know, not famous, but an influencer on Instagram actually rented your Lambo out. He's a clothing designer out in
Pilot
Philly.
and Co.
Yup.
Yeah.
He ended up renting out, and shout out to you. I'm pretty sure you're going to see this.
Yep.
But he ended up renting your Lambo out, and he was posting videos and pics and all that with the
took the
trenches and the
hood.
kids and all that.
Yeah.
Yo, and I was like, yo, I know that Lambo, that joint
Bro.
tough.
So
Bro, I want to
I
do
was-
an interview with you one day too, bro. When you're ready, I'm here.
I was feeling very uneasy when he had that too because I had a tracker in the car and I'm
And he was
back
going through
home
the trenches.
and I'm like, yo, this guy's going through the hood in Philly and I'm like, yo. So I just kept checking in with him, like everything going good. But
That's all the youngins. They like I said, they're getting to the movement right now, and it's actually funny that now there's even outside families coming in that don't even wear their shoe, that
yeah,
are
people
coming.
wearing Hey Dudes in the line
And
and
they're
stuff like that, bro.
and they're coming
Don't
in
know
buying
shit.
and
Yeah.
buying in everything, and then it's all about who you know behind the counter. Besides these raffles and all that
Yeah.
shit that they do online, I know you love seeing the young entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
get into the sneaker game
Yeah.
and do that. What advice do you have for them?
If you are envisioning it as a true business, then you got to treat it like a true business. Like a lot of these resellers that I see coming out here buying shoes all the time and they're here for every release, like do it the right way. Like if you don't want to have the overhead of a store, like I don't blame you because there's times where I don't want it, but do it the right way. Pay your taxes, get a good accountant, set up QuickBooks. If you don't want to do that, you don't want to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
Do your own bookkeeping and be accurate with it. Like, luckily, I haven't had no issues with the IRS or anything like that, any kind of audits or anything like that. But you got some of these kids out here buying hundreds and hundreds of shoes every month and selling them, putting money in the bank, taking money out of the bank and stuff like that with no real, like, paper trail for it. So if the IRS goes after them at some point, they're not claiming this. Like now, everything that you spent time building is going to crash down. So I would just say treat it like a true business. Like every relationship that you build, whether it's with a store manager or like one of your customers or like one of the people you're buying from,
Yeah.
treat people the same. Like they always say, like treat the janitor how you would treat the CEO.
I said that we
It's
said
kinda
that in
same
the
thing.
last one. Shout out
Yeah.
Amy for that one. I'm gonna go ahead and applause that.
Yeah.
Because
So
that means we have the same mental on that. You
Yep.
see what
So
I'm
it's
saying?
just- you got to kind of just do people right.
Yeah,
do
'cause-
right by people and kind of like build your relationships up and have your character like speak for itself. If you're out here scamming people and doing people dirty and clowning your customers and stuff online, like, do you have a business or are you just kind of out here
Clout
running in
chasing.
circles?
Yeah.
And it's not going to go nowhere if you're doing that.
Right. So just stay level headed, do
Yeah.
what you do. I seen them actually just renting out even storage units,
Yeah.
paying $80, $100 a month just to store these sneakers to be selling it, which is a crazy good overhead of a
Yeah.
placement to put all your shoes.
Yeah.
But you know
Keep
what I
it
mean?
out of your house.
To all the youngins and to everybody that's reselling, man, you heard it from the man himself that's been doing it for well over 20 years. Justin Ashby, I really appreciate you with this interview, bro. Royal Rap, you don't understand. I've been harassing this man every single time I see him, and now we actually got the time. I know you got to go to your boys' football game and all that.
Yep.
So if you haven't, please like, comment, subscribe on @TheYellowCord down below. If you're looking for some sneakers, if you're looking for some drip for the night, or if you're looking for a house, hit my man up right here. He might put a QR code. Let me get a QR code and put it at the bottom. You go ahead and scan that or type in the information and, get with him to fulfill your needs in whatever aspect that you're, try to get into. All right, man. It was a pleasure having this episode with you. I highly appreciate it, man. And I'm going to go
Appreciate you
ahead and
coming
get
out.
that joint out here, man. 1.